Hey everybody, Miguel here with today's Beachbody coaching tip. Today we're going to talk about selling the story, not the scream. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by selling a story? What do I mean by creating a compelling story? Before I get into it, I'm going to tell you exactly what you're going to learn out of this video. Okay, you're going to learn 6 steps to creating a compelling, convincing story that's going to take your business from the level it's at today to the level that it should be, because hopefully a lot of you have an amazing, convincing, compelling story. Now, before I get into this, let me tell you, a lot of you are selling the scream with Beachbody. Frankly, with whatever company you're working for, most companies these days, they're selling the scream. You're selling the scream. When you hear about, 21-day fix coming out or Les Mills Combat, you're the first to post, great sale, 21-day fix on sale for $140. Or some of you come out with, great ideas of, buy Shakeology and get 21-day fix for $10 more. Or some of you say, oh, Les Mills Combat on sale this month only. Or some of you even have, your E&E product and you're like, oh, E&E on sale, half price on Boxing Day. Here's the thing. No one buys that stuff. Nobody cares about that stuff. No one knows what E&E is. No one knows what Les Mills Combat is. No one knows what 21-day fix is. What people look for, especially on Facebook, especially on YouTube, especially on social media, is compelling stories. Compelling stories. And that's what really moves your product. That's what really moves your team. That's what really will take your business to the next level. So let me tell you my compelling story that I've been telling for almost 2 years now that, to be honest, is the reason why our team is exploding within Beachbody. We're one of the fastest growing teams right now, I think, because we are all very good at telling our story, which is a true story, in a very convincing and compelling way, and we don't sell the scream. So we stand out from a lot of you that are selling the scream. So let me explain to you my story really quickly. I'll give you the Cole's Notes version, so I don't want to make this video 20 minutes long. And then I'm going to break it down for you and explain to you exactly how I crafted that story so that you understand how to build your own story. Because some of you probably have great stories and you're telling the stories, but you're not telling them the right way. Okay, so let me tell you my story. So my story, typically what happens before I start telling my story is I show up, either at a lunch or on the phone, and I'm face-to-face with the person or over the phone at the very least, because I want it to be a really passionate story that I'm telling them about how I lost a lot of weight. And usually we've connected a little bit. We found some kind of similar ground of connection. For a lot of times, it tends to be the fact that I have kids. And so my story tends to start with the kids part. And that really kind of creates that connection. So I'll go from there. So here's my story that I tell. So one day, I was driving home from daycare with my kids in the car. And it was cold. It was in the middle of winter. And I was putting my kid into his baby seat. And all of a sudden, I felt that my left hand started feeling a little bit numb, and I wasn't really quite sure why it was feeling numb. And I'm a guy, so I didn't really care too much about it. I thought maybe I bumped it on the car door or something, so I kept driving until I got home. We had dinner with the family, and I started feeling a little bit worse, so I thought, I'll do the bath time and the bedtime routine, and then I'll jump in the shower. So I go ahead, I do all that stuff, I go jump in the shower, and as I'm shampooing my scalp, I realize that, something doesn't feel quite right. And my left kind of side of my head, I could barely feel it with my fingers as I was rubbing it. And then, my legs started feeling a little fuzzy and my left leg started feeling numb. And I just did not feel good. So I step out of the shower, I jump into bed, and I tell my wife I'm going to bed. And of course, she knows me. I never go to bed that time. So she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing, no big deal. I just can't feel the left side of my body. I'm just going to go lie down for a bit. And she freaks out and loses her mind, right? Loses her mind, says, you need to go to the hospital. And I'm like, I'm not going to the hospital. I don't want anyone to know. I'm just let's just leave it alone. And at this rate, I'm fairly overweight. I'm about 230 some pounds. And long story short, she wins the battle. I jump in the car. I head to the hospital. And if you're not from Canada, our hospital's in the ER. You got to wait forever to get in. So I wasn't excited about getting there. I pull in. I look. There's 40 people waiting, in line to see a doctor in the ER. So I'm going to be there for 18, 20 hours. So I go in. I get triaged. And the oddest thing happens is when they triage me, they rush me right in. A doctor comes out, a nurse comes out, they rush me right in, they hook me up to EKG monitors and start taking blood and that whole deal. And I'm there for like a couple hours, and as I see all this going on, I look to the side, and I do not want to interrupt the doctors at this point because I'm figuring they're probably doing something very important. And I look over, and my blood pressure is like 190 over 135, 140. And I'm like, that doesn't seem right. That's not good. And I just keep looking at it, right? I keep looking at it, hoping it'll go down. And, you know, I'm feeling not great. And I start thinking, like, maybe this is it. Like, maybe this is it. Like, this can't be good. And I start kind of freaking out even worse, obviously. I look at my phone to go text my wife to tell her that I'm in the hospital, or that, you should probably come down here. But my phone's totally dead, so I can't even text her. And in that moment, like, I remember looking up to the ceiling, and I still remember this moment. I'm like, what's going to happen now? What's going to happen to my kids? What's going to happen? Did I pay the mortgage? Like, how is all that stuff going to get paid? Like, how is this all going to work out? And, like, I'm full out panic mode. I'm thinking I'm going to die, and it's not a good situation. So long story short, I end up leaving the hospital. Blood pressure goes down to about 140 over 120. They tell me to go see my doctor right away. I go see my doctor, and over about a month's time, I go to all these different tests that I'll skip. I won't bore you with all those details, but basically, I end up going to one final doctor, and then they give me these pills, and like, you should take these pills. And the pills basically say, you're going to have some side effects if you take these pills. And one of them was like sexual dysfunction, and I'm like, that's crap. I'd rather die. I'm not taking this freaking pill. So at that moment, I kind of realized, I'm like, maybe if I just lose a little bit of weight, maybe if I lose some weight, maybe I can start turning this thing around a little bit. And oddly enough, no one had told me to lose weight. No one had said anything. My friends, doctors, no one had said anything about weight loss. So I finally start, trying to exercise. I start trying to run. I try going to the gym. None of that works, right? And then finally one day, I, by fluke, watch a P90X3 and a TurboFire commercial. We end up buying both programs. I tried P90X3 for a couple days, no results whatsoever, and I ended up quitting by the third day, and I'm just like, forget it, I can't do this workout. I ended up trying TurboFire, and TurboFire, for some reason, it ended up working. And the funny thing was, when I opened TurboFire, for those that have tried TurboFire, I tried to find the shortest workout. I'm like, which one's the shortest workout? Okay, here's one. It's a HIIT 15 workout. I'm like, that's gotta be the easiest workout possible. So I pop it in, I start doing the workout, and I'm like dying. Because if you don't know what a HIIT workout is, it's like interval training. It's actually her hardest workout. That's why it's 15 minutes. And I'm like dying. But by the end of it, like, there's like one more round left in her HIIT. And she like looks at you and she goes like, it's you, baby, all you, and you can do this. And for some reason, when Shalene Johnson said that to me, like, I just connected with her in a way that I hadn't connected with anyone, at least over TV, ever. And I fall to the ground, I start crying, and I'm like, I can't believe this, and I just get up, and I keep doing the workout, and I finish the workout, and I felt pretty accomplished. I did the whole workout, and then funny thing happened is I kept doing that workout over and over and over. I kept doing different workouts. I actually didn't even follow the schedule. I just did kind of whatever workout I wanted to do, and within 90 days, I lost 45 pounds. And then within another couple days, I was at 120 days, I had lost 50 pounds. And then I kept doing more exercise, more workouts, did Les Mills Combat, tried a whole bunch of other ones, and I had great results with these workouts. And it was amazing to me how I was able to lose so much weight just doing these workouts. It just blew my mind. So that's pretty much the story that I tell people. I tell them that story. I tell it a little bit slower. I tried to rush it just for this video. It usually takes about 20 minutes with questions back and forth. But that's my compelling story that I tell people. And I tell it in various different ways, but the reality is that is a compelling story. And if you don't have a compelling story, you're going to struggle with this business. Because what ends up happening when I'm done telling that story is people look at me and they go, whoa, how did you do that? Because I've been trying to lose weight forever. Like, tell me more about this program. What is this thing, TurboFire? And I usually end up saying, whoa, slow down. Like, that was the one for me. But, let's chat about it. Let's figure out which one's better for you. Because Beachbody has over 50 products. They have like 21 different workout programs. Like, let's figure out which one's the best for you. Like, tell me more about what you've tried. And then we head down that route, right? But the story is what sold it. That's why when people tell me, like, oh, I don't know, like, people tell me it's too expensive, or people tell me this, or they don't know what, or they want to know this, I flat out tell every single person, well, the reason you're having any problems with that stuff is because you're not selling your story. People are coming to you to buy a product. And when people come to you to buy a product, they're going to ask you about price. When people come to you because they want your story, they want to be a part of your story, they want to be a part of your journey, price is no option. It doesn't matter. People don't care about price, right? So how do you build that story? Let me work backwards for you real quick. So there's 6 steps, I promised you, right? Step 1 is the connection. You need to build a connection with them at the beginning of your story. Now, it depends on who the person is you're talking to, how you're going to connect with them, right? But for me, most people that I talk to have kids and have a family, and they want to get great results. The reality is most people that have gained a lot of weight is because they've had kids or they've had career issues, things have been going on. So my story hits pretty much most people out there. So I create that connection. That's the number one thing you have to do in your story. Your story has to be about you, but it has to create an instant connection with that person within the first 20 seconds. And when I tell people that I picked up my kids from daycare and put them in the back of my car, right there is an instant connection with so many people because they're like, wow, you picked up your kids from daycare? I have kids too. Immediately a connection. Step 2 is the dissatisfaction element. What happened? What went wrong? What was the problem? I set up the problem. I tell them, I was gaining weight. I gained all this weight and I had a big problem. I had to try and resolve my issue somehow. I didn't know what to do. I tried all these different things and nothing was working. What that happens when people start doing that, start thinking about that, is they start realizing that they need a way to fix themselves as well. The third step that comes in is creating that desire, right? Now people start listening, and they start listening to my journey. I start telling them about all the different things that I tried, right? And they start thinking about, what did I do? And then I start telling them that I started this, this turbo fire workout. And that the desire part kind of starts building up more and more and more, where they start hearing that I had a breakthrough, which is step 4. Step 4 is a huge breakthrough moment. When I looked at Chalene Johnson and she looked at me and told me that I could still do this and that it was all on me. Huge breakthrough moment, right? And so people love that. They want that breakthrough. They look at me at that moment and they're like, you had that? How do I get that? I want someone on TV to motivate me because you know what? I am unmotivatable. No one can motivate me. I fall off track in 3 days. I can't stick with the program. I want what you had, right? And the fifth thing is the result. I tell them the result. So now they want that. They want that feeling of someone telling them they can do it. And then I hit them again and I tell them, I lost 45 pounds in 90 days and I lost 50 pounds in 120 days. Now they want the result. And then the sixth step, which kind of ends at the end of the story, is the action, where they want it and I tell them, let's slow down, let's figure out what the best action is for you. That's a compelling story. And I do that over and over again. And because I've done it so many times, I get better and better and better and better at it, right? And that's what you need to do. You need to get better at it. Just like Steve Jobs is the most incredible presenter in my mind of all time. He sold an iPhone, this little phone here. When he started talking about this phone, people thought, what the heck? Who's going to buy a $700 phone? But because he told a compelling story that people needed something, you didn't know that you needed it. If I would have told you before the iPhone came out that you needed access to Facebook, the internet, email all day long, you would have said, no, I actually don't want that. But because he told a compelling story that what you need is a communications device, a phone, a web browser, a communications device, a phone, a web browser, all in your pocket. That's this slim. And I actually have it right here in my pocket. And he pulls it out and he shows it to you. He shows you the results. That's what sold the iPhone. That's it. That's what sold the iPhone. People want what you have if you tell them a compelling story. If you scream at them all day long and tell them to buy your programs for on sale at $140, you're going to be a coach that's going to be struggling for a very, very long time. So hopefully that helps you guys. Hopefully you watch the next video. If you have any comments or questions, please place them below this video. I love to hear from you guys. Also subscribe to my YouTube channel. I think the button's right here where I'm circling. You click on that button, you'll be able to subscribe to the channel, and you'll get more updates and more videos. Until next time, live with passion and dream the extreme.